All right, this week's video is going to be a little bit different. That's because people have been asking me to do a tour of the Martin Auto Museum. You've seen cars individually in each one of the profiles, but they want to see the full scope of this place. So I've asked a friend of mine to help out. You remember Tyler Hoover? That's right. Work with him on the Barrett-Jackson auctions all the time. This is your first time here, right?
First time in. I've seen a lot of your videos though, so it's really cool to see. You're on TV right now actually doing the Tucker video.
That's right. We've got a big screen back here that shows all the videos, and that is the Tucker, which probably, first off, what's your reaction? You walk in the door.
It's awesome. I'm a big Tucker nut. I tried to see all of them all over the country at one point. They're in Hershey at the AACA Museum. They had a big display. So every time I see one, I'm in awe. So it's a great opener for sure.
All right, so go up and let's talk about this Tucker. This is one of only 51 Tuckers that are still surviving. And why are you such a Tucker fan?
Well, so my grandpa, when I was a little kid, he gave me a model of one and just started telling me the story about the Tucker and all that stuff. And it's just so cool. For some reason, I was just captivated as a kid with the 3 headlights and the fact that it moves with the steering wheel and the helicopter engine. And of course, the story of it, GM sort of killing the car itself or the company, or maybe it was him being a bad businessman. Like the movie, of course, is great with Scorsese, right?
And you've been on a trek to see as many of these as you can.
So then at Pebble Beach, they showed some years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I got to see, I think, about 20 in a row, half the surviving Tuckers in one spot. So that covered a lot of them. I'm not sure if this one was there, but...
This is one of the ones that was actually used in the movie, which is kind of cool lore for this thing. And we've got one of the cool blueprint drawings back here as well as a share of Tucker stock.
I have one of these. I do. I do it for decoration. Yep, the useless paper. Yep.
All right, well, let's walk down a row and have some fun. This is one of the new cars we just got, this Continental, 1956, I think.
Okay, so the Mark II.
Yeah, this is awesome. Don't call it a Lincoln, because obviously this was the year it spun off. But I love these. When I look at these cars, I think Dean Martin, I think Frank Sinatra, because these are the kind of cars that they'd be driving.
Yes, and they do crazy money when they're resto-modded, which is unusual for, obviously Camaros and Mustangs and all that stuff, but we've seen a few of these go nuts when they're customized. It's neat to see one, very stock. Looks very factory. It's not like over-restored either. I like it. Yeah.
I call this the Push Me Pull You car, 1951 Studebaker Champion. And Push Me Pull You, if you don't remember, was a critter from Dr. Dolittle, and it had 2 heads, one on either end. If you look at this car from the front and the back, you don't know which one is the front and the back.
And I see this, and it's the Muppet movie with Fozzie, where they painted it all crazy.
Right.
You remember that movie?
Right.
Yep.
All right, we got this really cool 65 Coronet, but you have a personal interest in one of these.
Oh, look at this.
Do you still have yours?
No, I sold it at Barrett, Houston, years ago. And, there was just a crazy run of Superbirds, and it was one guy. That was the thing on Hemi Superbirds that ran it up to $1 million, and then they went back down. But the same color, of course, they're 1 year, 1970, so it looks very familiar. It's real, right?
Yes, you can tell. You could sit on the wing if you want.
I'm not going to get in trouble for doing this, right?
No. Well, people always wonder, is it just fiberglass or is it real?
Reinforced
You've had shoebox Fords, right?
I have. I had a 51, so this one's a little bit older.
Well, it just happened to have a 51 right
there
next
it is,
to it.
yes.
There you go. What I think is cool is how the grille changes between 49 and 51. Just a couple years, and yet how significantly different it is.
Yeah, I actually sold that at Barrett too, but I did the whole period hot rod stuff. I did the Offenhauser heads and the dual carburetor setup just to... It didn't really make it much faster, but it was fun to do for videos. Yeah.
More Woodies. You can't go wrong with Woodies. Got a great town and country. One of our favorite cars here at the museum is this car right here, a Duesenberg Model J, one of less than 500 built.
It's beautiful. Man, I can't believe you got the Tucker and then the Duesenberg. You're walking through, but then the funny part is we whacked past all these Cadillacs to get in between the Tucker and the Duesenberg, which. I have a 76 Eldo. That Fleetwood's incredible because it's 20 miles on it or something like that?
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love the 76 Eldorado, such a great story about how people were suing. Let's walk down a little bit, because you used to sell these things, right, when you were back in the Cadillac
dealership? I have an XLR-V right now, but yes, these were disasters. Because everybody bought a Corvette, they were way cheaper.
What do they like to drive?
They drive like a Corvette that's a little bit softer, nicer, the hardtop. But I have the V, so that was a $97,000 car new, and like a Z06 Corvette was $50,000. So nobody bought them. Nobody bought them. I think I got mine used for $8,000 or whatever. But this is
a little club racer CTS-V
with a big blower on it. That's awesome. And then the Eldos.
This is your sweet spot for Eldorados, isn't it? Early 2000s?
2002 was the last year, so this is the second to last year. And the gold package. Ooh, this is cool. Of course, I like the hoopties, so this is it's neat to see such a variety. And yeah,
1996, 27 original miles on that.
Holy smokes.
And one of the great things about this museum, the Martin Museum here in Phoenix, is we let people get in a bunch of the cars. Not all of them, but so anybody can get in and see what it was like to be in a 1976 Cadillac Eldorado with a big, huge convertible. Supposedly the end of the line convertible that, guess what, it wasn't.
This one's nicer than mine. Yeah, 4,000 miles on it. So yeah, this is really cool. Okay. Fleetwood. Man. Is it, are you even for sale? How much? How much?
Well, you know, maybe we can work out a deal. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
This is really the Cadillac row. We've got a couple other Cadillacs, some earlier ones back there. This Eldorado Brougham with the brushed metal top is spectacular.
Whoa. Beautiful.
What I like to point out, so this is the 49 Cadillac, which is important because that's when the V8 engine comes out. This is the 48, and this is when the styling changes.
Right.
But right next to it, we've got a 1931. Now think about this. There's only 17 years between this 49 and this 1931 Cadillac. And it's amazing to think of how radical styling changes in just 17 years.
And a giant war in that to slow things down, but yeah, pretty incredible. And I guess this one's a custom, so it would have been still a flathead in this one and an overhead valve in 49.
Yeah.
But the birth of the fins there with the twin tail,
the fins are finally beginning
the P-38 Lightning fighter plane. Yep, that's
let's
cool.
walk through and just go to the next line.
Wow. Yep, and fill it up. I want to break something, but it's cool that you can interact with the exhibits here. A lot of museums where it's, stay way back, don't touch.
And in fact, we've had that discussion with other museums because they're big on the fact that, this is art, right? This is, this is something special. But here, once again, we let you get in and maybe a quarter of the cars now, but we let you get up close and personal to just about all of them. And it's, people ask me, what's the theme of this museum? And I say, Mel Martin, the founder, the theme is, what did he think was cool that day?
What is that?
So, got to take you over here and show what he's talking about. So this is called Mel's Pickle, and it's a 1951 Studebaker half-ton custom pickup truck, and yes, it's about as custom as they get.
This is crazy.
Somebody came up with a crazy idea. And you look, and the front is very classic hot rod, right? Putting the Dagmars up, those tilted lights, who knows where those teeth came from, maybe an Oldsmobile. Which is classic, the way they did hot rods in the old days, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But the styling on this one is definitely over the top on just about every level. And what I love about it is sitting right next to this wild custom is a very original 1968 Cobra jet. And I mean, this was as hot, just about as hot as you got in 1968.
It seems like pretty much a survivor of the repaint,
It is very much
right?
a survivor. Yeah, beautiful condition. Stored just right.
So there is everything here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just for the fun of it, walk back this way.
All right.
Another example of a fun car is this Lincoln Continental. I think it's a 1977.
I've seen this video of yours. Everybody saw this video. This is your viral video car, right?
It is. So explain to me, Tyler, you do YouTube. You've been doing this for a long time. Why is it of all the videos I've done, DeLoreans, everything else, this car, this 1977 Lincoln Continental Mark V, is the most successful, most popular video I've ever done. 275,000 views.
Because probably nobody has ever done a detailed historical walkthrough of a Mark V. So you had the market totally cornered, I would guess, right?
Well, I think I've had the market cornered in a lot of these cars, but for whatever reason. And then we've got this crazy thing next door. This is well, you'd never know it, but it's a Monte Carlo. It's a 1976. And what are your thoughts on this, Tyler?
How do I be diplomatic about this? It's strange.
It's called a custom cloud. There was a guy in the 70s who started producing these kits to modify these Monte Carlos, make them look like Rolls Royces. And in fact, he ultimately got sued by Rolls Royce.
I can see why.
Because his grille was too similar, his emblems were too similar.
That is a spirit of excellence. It's too close.
Well, and this is actually the second one I think he went with. There was one that was even closer to initially. And he called it a custom cloud, like a Rolls Royce cloud.
Is that metal?
Fiberglass.
Okay.
But the beauty of it was
but
it all bolts on.
Huh.
It was a really simple conversion. So that was the great thing about it. We got plenty. We got original Firebirds over there, 267s, which are great. We've got the next generation of Camaro. We got starting with a 68, of course, in the early 2000s as well. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I love 4th gen Camaros. That was pretty much everything in my high school parking lot growing up. They had a trucker, 4th gen. And man, so there's a lot of customs in here too. Because so many museums, they don't do many customs. It's much more of like a, going through history and things, and not really like this is right off the block of Barrett Jackson. It looks like,
It is, and the whole point of the museum is it's just a lot of fun cars, something everybody can relate to, whether it's something like this, a mid to late 60s Chevrolet or the Camaro next to it, and then you go to the back. So the fun thing, that car straight ahead of you looks like a Chevrolet. It's a Holden.
Whoa.
From Australia.
Okay.
So but it's interesting because it's a left-hand drive, and I'm unclear as to whether it was converted. Holdens, of course, were the Chevrolet, the General Motors product of Australia, and it's got the Chevrolet badging on it, but it was actually built by Holden back then.
Interesting.
Then we've got a DeSoto Airflow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
A lot of people remember the Chrysler Airflow and forget there was also a DeSoto Airflow as well. But I mean, you think about this. Let's think about the styling. This is a 1934 car. That's a 1934 car.
Right.
I mean, think how radically different they were looking at for 1934 in the United States. When this came out, no one wanted it. It was just too radically different.
Right. What would be the equivalent today of cars that look just so ridiculous that, and some of the electric cars are looking very strange as far as to get their drag coefficient lower, and people are saying they're hideous, but that's probably the way it's going to be in the future. I'm thinking like Mercedes EQS versus the S-Class, or
very possible.
Some others. Yeah, interesting.
Some old Buicks. We got an old Studebaker from 1931, and then we've got classic. Classic beauty over here.
Whoa.
We've got this Cadillac from 1929, I think it is. Yeah, 1929. We've got the LaSalle next to it, the Lincoln. So this was luxury in the late 20s and early 30s.
This is something you see on the lawn of Pebble Beach or Amelia? Wow.
I always wonder the story behind it. Who owned it? How much money did they have?
Right.
Were they able to survive the stock market crash? I love this 1925 Lincoln. Everybody thinks that Ford started building V8s in 1932, but the reality was they had acquired Lincoln and were building V8s for Lincoln. They hadn't designed it. It was just a Lincoln V8. But technically, Ford was building V8s.
I didn't know they did this satin finish. And look at that, yeah, that flathead. That's great.
Look how complicated it is with everything in between.
Well, the steering wheel, it's locked, but
yeah, I got it locked right now, sorry.
The steering wheel's folded in. It's a crazy contraption, too. You haven't done a video on this one yet?
This one's out there.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it kind of looked familiar.
And then this is one of my favorites. So this is a popcorn truck that was in the same family since it was built new in the late 1920s, I think. And the family restored it a number of years ago, and then finally, as everybody got older and fell on hard times, they were able to put it up at auction, and we were able to buy it.
Wow.
But I mean, just perfect condition for this 1929 Chevy.
We just need an Ilco milk truck next to it, right? That going to be your influence on the museum?
A Divco milk truck is absolutely.
Is that what it is? Divco. Divco,
yeah.
Yep.
Of course, we have to have our official merry-go-round here. And then this becomes kind of our newer section of cars. We've got a BMW i8, which, in my book is one of the prettiest cars ever designed.
It's pretty wild, yes. Yep, they're difficult to keep running, so it's good to park them in a museum. The Tesla's interesting too, because that's a very early, I saw the sticker, number 8, the 8th Tesla off the production line.
Yeah.
As far as the Model S, because there's a Roadster before it.
And we had to go through a little bit of a complicated process to decommission this car.
Okay.
So it's safe to have in the museum, so no one's going to get shocked with it.
That's good.
We've got Charger, we've got Challengers, we've got newer Jaguars right there. And then I got to walk you over, every museum has to have a Corvette room.
Of course.
So we're going to head our way over there. But passing by, we not only get this Charger, or Challenger, but we also have a 53 Buick Skylark and a 54 Buick Skylark, which are two hugely important cars.
Yeah.
And this is the Corvette room. And I mean, it is, once again, we don't have everything in there, but we have a pretty good collection. If you want to tell the story of the Corvette, you can pretty much do it with what we've got here.
Well, C2 and first generation, well represented, but The one in the corner, that's catching my eye. So is that a factory cutaway or?
You know, I don't think it is. I think it was done after the fact. I don't think it was a factory cutaway.
Okay.
But it was done beautifully, and especially what's really interesting, it's all color coded.
Right.
So when you look at this chart tells you what everything is, but you know, orange corresponds to one thing, and you know, and look at how they've even cut away the battery to show you what's inside the battery. And this happens to be a 67 Corvette. It's a real deal 67 Corvette, cut away in such a way that you can see how it operates, what the chassis was like, what the drivetrain was like. It's just a really cool piece of work.
And hopefully Jeff Hayes doesn't come and steal this part to
and then
make
look
something.
at that. We've got a C5.
C5
chassis over there as well.
The transmission went in the back via a torque tube with that LS engine. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen this on XLRs because it's very similar. When the North Star head gaskets go bad and you have to drop the whole kit and caboodle out.
Not what you want to go through.
No, certainly not. But this is incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for showing me around. This is really definitely worth the visit. It's eclectic, but really significant things as well.
I mean, you know, we don't have a lot of European machinery. I mean, you know, now that I say that, we walk right out.
Right.
There's a Ferrari, of course, a 360. So we do have some, but it's mostly American iron. We have got a Pantera right there. Of course, I love the fact that it's sitting next to a 1963 split window,
Right.
which is pretty cool. But you know, talk about having something for everybody. I love the fact that we've got this mail truck right here. Because you think about it, you know, how many people have seen this truck over the years pulling up in front of their house, or how many people worked for, you know, the U.S. Postal Service? This is not an Ed Big Daddy Roth. This was built by his son, Little Daddy Roth. But it has that classic 1960s styling of the fiberglass, just crazy off. And it's a horrible car to drive. Get in.
I can imagine.
Go ahead, get in, hop in.
Do you ever get them out to take them for a spin as far as
I
keeping
have
them
yet
going?
to drive this one, so I can't, I don't know how this, but I've heard the stories that it just doesn't work very well.
But is that part of someone's duties in the collection to move them every once in a while and make sure
we
everything's...
actually move them quite a bit.
Okay.
Put your legs out.
Yeah, that's... I don't really fit. I don't think anybody does. This wasn't designed for humans, I don't think. Okay.
I remember one time, you know, the hot rod, the uncertainty that's kind of it's kind of tilted. It looks like a phone booth that's tilting actually.
Yeah.
I was talking with a guy a long time ago who built the car, and I'm like, how does this thing drive? He goes, it doesn't. It's just here for show. It's a show car. You need to understand that.
And then a Bonneville used for what it's named
Going
after?
200 miles an hour.
Wow.
So this one actually, this Bonneville actually did 200 miles an hour in the salt flats.
And is it still front wheel drive?
He's disappeared under the car.
I'm looking. I don't think so. I think they made it full drag racer in there. That's crazy. I could spend all day in here for sure.
We've got a research library back there, which is all the books.
Steve Mignante would go nuts.
Exactly.
Yes.
We've got the racing room with plenty of sprint cars. I love this old 1914 Model T race car. That's really cool. Some of the old NASCAR racers. So just a little bit of everything. But you know, that's the beauty of this museum. You know, whether you want to look at old gas pumps or what was billed as the car of tomorrow, this NASCAR stalker from a long time ago.
Wow.
There's just a little bit of something. So what do you think? What's your reaction?
It's amazing. You know, the only thing I think it needs is a gull wing at the knocking engine.
You know, we've talked to you about that. You know, there's a nice spinning place right in the front.
Okay.
I think we could, you know, maybe just bring it out here for a month or two. You know, it's cold in Wichita.
It needs to be fixed, unfortunately. But that'd be fun to have it out here for a little bit. I know a safe place to keep it if I do have it out in Arizona for a time. Huh?
Well, thanks so much for coming by. I greatly appreciate it. You know, your first chance to finally see the Martin
Yeah,
Museum.
I think, and at the Tucker, it's still, every time I see one, I just get so excited. So just that is worth it for me, but everything else, and everything's like, it's a beautiful building facility too, and really nicely kept up. And
the thing I point out is, it's a real museum, as opposed to, some people say they've got a museum, but no one ever gets access to it. We're open 6 days a week. We have a game room for kids to play in. We've got a ballroom. You can rent that out. So it's a fun facility. It's really great.
So are we going to play some Galaga?
Let's go.
All right.
All right.